Hi everyone, welcome to Basic Sock Repair for Millennials, or anyone who just happens to have a hole in your sock and you've never had anyone teach you how to sew a basic little tiny hole in something. Don't worry, it's not hard, but you do need a few things before we get started. A good little snip scissors, or any kind of scissors will do. A thread that will match your sock that you're repairing. I have a little set here that has the various colors of socks that I tend to have in my wardrobe. But you can have just a plain black and white, and that'll do too for most people. Don't worry about going too crazy if you've never done this before. You'll also need a little sharp needle. Basic needle sets, I'm not fancy. I don't have a lot of fancy skills or anything. I just have a sharp. It's called a sharp. It comes in a package of like 3 or 4, 6, something like that. So I just have one of those. And I keep that with my thread and my little snip, so I have a repair station anytime I need it. Obviously what you'll also need is a sock with a hole in it. Now I've already turned my sock inside out. I'm putting my non-dominant hand into the sock. You're gonna need your dominant hand for sewing, and I'm right-handed, so I'll be using my right hand. I'll put my left hand in the sock to kind of show you the holes. I've got a couple big gaping holes here in the bottom, top of my sock at the toe. But as you notice, there's no other holes or any other problems with the sock. And even though socks aren't very expensive to buy at the store, sometimes you have a favorite pair of socks. I love these because they're like really warm, kind of half woolen socks. So I tend to wear them up during the winter. And as you can see here, I've got a pile of them that I've worn holes in because I wear them so often. So I don't want to throw them away, and I can't find new ones exactly like this to replace, so I want to repair them. So it's going to be pretty darn simple to do. All we need is your thread and your needle. I've already cut off a little piece of thread. Oops, here it is. I've already cut off a little piece of thread. It's only about a foot long or so. You can do longer, especially if you're going to be doing multiple pairs of socks of the same color range. Otherwise, you need at least a foot to be able to go in the needle and not pull it out. Keep pulling it out of the needle as you go. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to thread your needle. And if you have a hard time threading needles, when you go to the fabric store or go to wherever your favorite store is that has needles and thread, they're going to have a needle threader. It's a little metal doohickey that pushes through the needle, and you thread that through first, and then you have a big hole to be able to thread your needle. But I've been doing this for a lot of years, so I'm pretty good at threading needles. The thing you're going to need to do next is you're going to need to knot the thread, and I learned this in home ec class when I was growing up. You're going to take the end of the thread between your thumb and your forefinger, and you're going to wrap it around your pointer finger a couple times. You're going to kind of roll it off, and then you're going to squeeze it between your your middle finger and your thumb. Just reverse it if you're left-handed, obviously. And then you're going to kind of pull it down the line, and if it catches right, it's going to make yourself a nice little knot. And you can trim off the end once you've finished your sewing here. So once you have your needle threaded and your knot made, you're going to put your sock back on your non-dominant hand, whichever one you aren't going to sew with. So we're going to start sewing up our hole. So it's really simple. You're going to take it past the point, kind of at the end of the hole. And I like to sew mine across the top of the sock because this is my toes basically make these little holes on top instead of the bottom. If you have them on the bottom of the sock and they're going the opposite direction, I usually go whatever is the narrower way when your foot stretches into it. So you're going to go at the end of the hole and go in one side and then out the other on the opposite side of the hole where it's thickest. Now if it's thinning around your hole, you'll want to go past the thinning portions. You're going to pull it through. If your knot catches, then you have a good hold of your sock there. If it doesn't catch, you might want to pull it down further or out further. You're going to do it a second time, a little higher up this time, but this time you're going to leave a little bit of a loop, and then you're going to go through the loop with your thread, and that's going to give you a second knot, and that'll keep it nice and secure while we finish sewing this up. So what you do next is you just keep going, just work your way up the hole, just kind of bringing the hole closed. Like so. See, it's really easy. It doesn't take very long to sew your socks, and sometimes it's just nice if you have a pair that you really love and you don't want to get rid of it until it gets thin and the holes in the heel and stuff that are just too thin to sew. You can keep repairing socks for quite a few years. And it's something a lot of people take for granted now, that you can just run to the grocery store or run to the big box store wherever you go and pick up a pair of socks for relatively cheap. But it's not good for the environment. It's not good for, you know, it's screwing up a lot of things. I won't get into it, but if you're watching this, most likely you've seen the videos online about it. When you get to the end of your hole, as you see, it's all sewn up now. You want to leave one last loop to bring your thread back through. That's going to knot it. And once it's knotted really tight, you're going to trim off your little excess thread. And then you see my other little hole there, but I'll do that in another video, or do it when I'm off video. But if you turn it inside out, and if you've used the same thread, you might see a little bit of a hole. I mean, you'll see where the hole was unless you're using exactly the same match, but otherwise that'll give you a good couple months more wear, if not longer, for your sock. And it's pretty easy, not too hard. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Otherwise, my next video hopefully will be on some other kind of easy repair that you may not have ever learned how to do before, and I hope you'll find it handy. Thanks for watching.